Hello, I am Jan Fisher, Executive Director of Nonprofit Westchester, and it is with great excitement that I welcome you to our annual meeting, Keep Westchester Thriving Awards ceremony, and the Emerging Leaders Program graduation. It has once again been a busy, challenging, and at the same time, very rewarding year. Once again, more people than ever called upon Westchester's nonprofit organizations, and once again, you delivered. It is an honor to honor you, Westchester's nonprofit sector, and especially our membership. You recognize the importance of collaboration as the key to providing the best possible services and to advancing needed systemic change. Thank you for all you do. And tonight, we call special attention to your peers with the Keep Westchester Thriving Awards, Individual Changemaker Judith Watson, CEO, Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center, and Organization Changemakers, Community Resource Center of Mamaroneck, and the Child Care Council of Westchester. I would also like to thank NPW's Board President, Anna Haita Kotval, for so generously sharing herself and her expertise, and to an outstanding executive committee and NPW Board of Directors. Your time and energy are so appreciated. To our business sponsors, thank you for recognizing the importance of investing in the nonprofit sector. And to our government partners, especially our partners in county government, we so value the work we do together. Thank you. A very special shout out to Donville Collins and the team at VCast, and Mike Grayab from Metro Live Video. NPW is so fortunate to have a small but mighty team, with gratitude to Amy Rivera, Wendy Gottlieb, Dr. Alexandria Connolly, and Cora Greenberg. And very, very special thanks to the person who holds it all together, Suzanne Gardos. Thank you all again. And as we begin tonight's event, please make sure to vote for this year's board slate by 6:30.
Thank you, Jan, and thank you all for joining us this evening as we celebrate the work of Nonprofit Westchester and the work of our member organizations. Westchester County's nonprofit sector is blessed with a wealth of wonderful organizations and inspiring leaders who work tirelessly to make our community a place where we can all live and thrive. Singling out a few of them for exceptional recognition this evening was a daunting task, but I hope you will agree that this year's honorees reflect the best attributes of our sector: commitment, creativity, resilience, and collaboration. Congratulations to each of them. My colleagues will be sharing more about them and their accomplishments later in the program. As this is our annual meeting, I will be giving you a quick review of NPW's work in 2021, an overview of our financial condition, and a brief glimpse at where we are headed. 2021 was another extraordinarily productive year for NPW. I would like to acknowledge our tireless Executive Director, Jan Fisher, who is the driving force behind all that we do. But I also want to acknowledge the dozens and dozens of member organizations whose staff and leadership contribute their time and talent to move NPW's agenda and activities forward. Here are a few highlights of what we were able to accomplish together in 2021. NPW hosted a remarkable 47 programs this year, focused on 3 key themes. The first, strengthening nonprofit programs, including topics such as risk and insurance, financial management, plan giving, strategic planning, governance, and leadership development, to name a few. The second, racial equity, diversity, and inclusion, including a 4-part series on the equity gap in nonprofit organizations. And the third, nonprofit advocacy, including programs on how our members can better advocate for the legislative and other policy changes they are looking for, as well as over a dozen direct conversations with elected officials to discuss those very issues. This year, we also made a concerted effort to broaden our reach and outreach to nonprofits who have not traditionally been NPW members. We conducted a number of feedback surveys on our programs and services to find out what you need from us. As a result of these surveys, the first draft of a report based on member and community input from our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Survey will be released in early 2022. Survey feedback also led to our bringing back some of the affinity groups we used to hold and adding some new ones, including a small nonprofits group, a people and processes group for HR and operations staff, and a peer-to-peer group for nonprofit staff of color. These groups join our 2 very successful groups for emerging leaders and for new executive directors. We continued our focus on smaller nonprofits to make sure they have access to our programs and services and that we are championing their unique issues and needs. And we have successfully increased membership from this group. We're also very excited to announce a generous grant from the County of Westchester to support us in working with these small nonprofit organizations to build their capacity. Finally, we created a disabilities roundtable to ensure that our diversity, equity, and inclusion work included the important needs of the differently abled and the organizations that serve them. Collaboration has been a key theme to all of this work. And again, I commend Jan for the role she plays in identifying and building relationships between and among nonprofits, the corporate, and government sectors. This collaboration with other sectors and stakeholders was key to our work and effectiveness, and we thank all our partners for their engagement and support. A list of our sponsors was included in tonight's video and hopefully is now showing on your screen. As we have expanded our programs, our membership, and our partnerships, we have continued to grow NPW's financial support and improve its financial condition. As you will see from the 2021 year-to-date income statement on your screen, our revenue through October 31st of this year is $221,000, representing a 12% increase over the entire year for 2020. This includes a 16% increase in membership dues, as well as increases in event fees and sponsorships. Expenses through October 31st are $170,000, an increase of approximately 6% over 2020. This results in a surplus of $50,000 as of October 31st, and even assuming no additional revenue in November and December, we expect to end the year with a surplus of $20,000. These results do not include one-time PPP loan forgiveness revenue of $15,000, which results in additional surplus. We are also in a very strong cash position. We have cash on hand of $100,000 and have started a small reserve fund for the first time. These are strong results for such a turbulent time, and I want to thank Jan and the entire NPW staff for their efforts. My last task this evening is to let you know about an exciting new branding effort for Nonprofit Westchester, which will be formally rolled out early next year. As you all know, NPW has a dual mission: to strengthen the nonprofit sector so it can do the important work that our county needs, and to advocate on the critical social issues that affect our members' work and the lives of those we serve. Our new mission, vision, and pillar statements were designed to emphasize both aspects of our work so that members, partners, and sponsors can better understand who we are. The new logo should be showing on your screens. Our mission: to strengthen Westchester's nonprofit organizations as they transform lives, empower communities, and drive positive change. Our vision statement: we envision a thriving Westchester County with vibrant nonprofits and resilient, inclusive communities. The mission and vision of Nonprofit Westchester are strengthened through pillars and actions that increase the visibility, capacity, and impact of the nonprofit sector in Westchester. The three pillars are advocacy and research, professional development and education for our members, and collaboration and connection. Nonprofit Westchester seeks to be a trusted, vital partner in our community through principles and actions that honor and advance the work of our member organizations. Our values include equity and inclusion, innovation, and integrity. We are looking forward to a productive 2022 for Nonprofit Westchester and all of your organizations. Until then, I wish you all peace, joy, and a little rest this holiday season. Please make sure to vote for next year's board slate this evening. Enjoy the program, and thank you.
Thanks, Anahita. We have indeed accomplished a great deal over the past year and look forward to achieving even more in 2022. But now, let's get to the program.
Hi, my name is Dante Hudson, Chief Operating Officer for the YWCA White Plains and Central Westchester and Chair of the NPW Emerging Leaders Advisory Board. I am so thrilled to be here. Before I continue, I want to thank my fellow advisory members, Tiffany, Jessica, and Kirshna. Also want to give a huge shout out to Suzanne. You are a rock star and we appreciate your leadership and vision. I am honored to present the 2021 NPW Emerging Leaders graduating class. As a graduate of the first class in 2019 and someone actively involved in the growth and development of ELP, I can attest to the incredible impact of this program. The NPW Emerging Leaders Program is an 11th-month professional development initiative designed to fortify the next generation of nonprofit professionals through learning that it focuses on the social and systemic issues addressed by the nonprofit sector. ELP has become truly a community where participants learn about each other's organizations and the intersectionality of their work. Participants establish meaningful relationships that support each other's work and life goals. It is truly a testament to we are stronger together. I encourage you to learn more and recommend prospective candidates at your organization and apply today. Now, before I continue, I would like to thank the terrific host organizations listed on the screen. It is now my pleasure to introduce this year's graduates. We know you will continue to connect, collaborate, and go on to do great things. Jill Bradshaw Soto, Legal Services of the Hudson Valley. Lauren Broyce, Sustainable Westchester. Ebony Kerlock, Westchester Jewish Community Services. Shannon Cataro, Mental Health Association of Westchester. Denise Chin, Westchester Community Opportunity Program. Maria Isabel Carrera Lopez, Neighbors Link. Charles Curtis, Volunteer New York. Angela Farish, New Rochelle Municipal Housing Authority. Joanna Francisco, Hope's Door. Kelly Garvey, Feeding Westchester. Dana Heisel Alonji, Westchester Library System. Kayla Jeffrey, Leviticus Fund. Angela Lace, Pro Bono Partnership. Sarah Lonergan Rothschild, West Tab. Kelly Martinez, Neighbors Link. Philip G. Morton, Hope's Door. Rashida Oakman Morrison, West Tab. Cara Plenamento, Spark. Clarabelle Polanco, West Hab. Mia Pergolesi, Hope Store. Jennifer Peterson, Westchester Jewish Community Services. Anthony Retta, Westchester Community College. Anna Restrepo, Neighbors Link. Melissa Spohr, YWCA White Plains in Central Westchester. Sonia Teege, Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center. Jason Thomas, Child Care Council of Westchester. Thank you all, and congratulations to all of the graduates, and have a happy, happy holiday.
As we elect our new board members tonight, we want to take a moment to thank our outgoing board members. Tracy Kay, Marjorie Matfis, Carola Bracco, and Maria Imperial. Tracy, for always putting a positive spin on things and for helping us to have more fun. Marjorie, your service has been relatively short, but so very impactful. Thank you for the passion you bring to advocating for people with disabilities. Carola, your service to NPW has resulted in substantially stronger practices. You have always been just a phone call or email away with thoughtful advice and guidance, and NPW and the nonprofit community are so much better for it. Maria, you have always given so much to NPW as chair of the governance committee and by continuously sharing ways to support and inform our work. You are a visionary, and the launch of the Westchester Center for Racial Equity, among so many other accomplishments, reflects the principled, determined, and humble leadership from which we have all benefited. It has been an honor to work with all of you, and I extend gratitude from the nonprofit Westchester Board of Directors and members. And now for the Keep Westchester Thriving Awards.
Starting in 2020 and continuing through 2021, the Child Care Council team heard from the community they serve that they were in dire need of support beyond the council's usual range of services. Quickly, creatively, and selflessly, council staff and leadership sprung into action to create a vast scaffold of support for children, parents, and child care providers. In order to ensure that children could still be safe and learning, essential workers could get to their jobs, and child care providers had what they needed to operate safely. The following are just a few of the many creative, collaborative, and innovative actions taken. Upon learning that children were telling their child care providers that there was no food at home or that they had not eaten, and that the providers were giving away their own groceries and cooking supplies for these families, the council reached out to Feeding Westchester, and a critical partnership began. A regular food distribution plan was established with the help of restaurateur turned truck driver Peter Herrero of Sam's of Gedney Way and other volunteers, and continues to this day. Many organizations helped, and Tom Gabriel, CEO of United Way of Westchester and Putnam, driving up with a literal truckload of diapers, is a clear representative of the incredible and amazing power of collaboration at play. When parents in essential jobs called in search of childcare that was still open, but also worried about whether it was safe, council staff said not only we'll find out, but we'll make it so. The council called every provider weekly to maintain a list of open programs, issued guidelines to help parents find COVID-safe care, and hosted weekly Q&A calls with child care providers to discuss the ever-changing health and infection control protocols and best practices. When those same parents could not afford care because of changes to their employment, the council once again turned to the community partners, securing funding from the Westchester Community Foundation and RXR's COVID Relief Fund to pay for scholarships. For parents at home, the council provided a steady flow of developmental appropriate activities. Resources were also shared for children struggling with pandemic or isolation-related anxiety, and for the parents to talk to their kids about the race and equity issues facing our nation and making headlines. As a result of these actions and so many more, parents were able to find and pay for childcare and go back to their jobs. Children were kept safe and healthy, and their development and mental health needs were addressed. We recognize the Child Care Council of Westchester as one of this year's nonprofit Westchester Keeping Westchester Thriving Organization Changemaker awardees for their commitment to always thinking and acting in the most generous way to address the intersecting issues faced by the nonprofit sector as a whole.
When the pandemic hit, we were fielding calls to help from every corner of the county, and the range of needs was so vast, it would have been easy to become overwhelmed. But as a team, we all picked up the slack and got it done. For parents who were working, we made it a priority to identify which childcare providers were open and called each one every week. We also issued guidelines for parents searching for safe care. We supported the open programs with regular Zoom calls to answer questions about the latest health regulations and how to best operate safely. For parents at home, we provided a steady flow of developmentally appropriate activities, as well as resources for children struggling with pandemic or isolation-related anxiety, and for parents to talk to their kids about the race and equity issues facing our nation.
Once we help providers get to a stable place with infection control and other protocols, we had to ensure we were still meeting our mission to help them maintain and improve quality. We launched a robust virtual training program, held educational conferences, and resumed in-person visits to help programs with materials, curriculum, and more. It was incredible to see their commitment to providing the very best care, even in the midst of such a crisis.
One of the biggest issues throughout the pandemic has been child care providers' ability to sustain their businesses with such low enrollment due to the pandemic. Also, the higher expenses due to supply needs. Through the CARES Act, we administered more than $1.5 million in child care scholarship for parents and close to $2 million in expense reimbursements to child care providers. We also distributed nearly $200,000 in foundation-funded scholarships, and we hosted webinars to help providers understand and secure federal grants and loans, including PPP funding.
For parents out of work, food was an immediate concern. We heard this directly from families and also from home-based child care providers who were checking on their kids and learning there was nothing to eat in the house. This isn't our expertise, but we couldn't ignore this need. So we partnered with Feeding Westchester to help get food to families fast. And through our community partners and CARES Act funding, we collected, purchased, and distributed cleaning supplies, diapers, masks, baby food, and more to families and to child care providers. For many months, our conference rooms literally looked like supply warehouses. But it was the reason many child care providers were able to reopen.
For me, it was really a no-brainer. The child care providers were coming to us for help, and they could serve and protect children, help working parents, and preserve the businesses they have worked so hard to build. All of us did what we had to be done.
I'm so incredibly proud of the Child Care Council staff. With every request from a parent or a child care provider came creative problem solving, innovative solutions, and a selfless determination to just step up and get it done. And as a result of their actions, parents are able to find and pay for childcare and go back to work serving our community. And our children were kept safe and healthy, and their development and mental health needs were addressed. My heartfelt thanks to our entire team and to every organization and person who has supported us so that we can do this important work. And to Nonprofit Westchester, it means so much to us to be recognized with this award tonight and to have your support in so many ways. Thank you.
The Community Resource Center is truly an anchor for the Mamaroneck community and an example for organizations countywide on how to build community through collaboration, innovation, and advocacy. CRC has always been a beacon of support for the immigrant community and the entire community in the greater Mamaroneck area through a range of programming from childcare to workforce development to case management to support a pathway to citizenship. The need for their services and their leadership has only been heightened first by the COVID-19 pandemic and then also by the flooding caused by Hurricane Ida. Their clients were among the hardest hit during the pandemic. In addition to establishing an emergency assistance fund for families impacted by COVID, CRC partnered with Neighbors Link, White Plains Hospital, and St. Thomas Church to bring COVID vaccines to those who had no other way to get vaccinated. They were at the forefront of organizing the Coalition for Community, a Larchmont, Mamaroneck-based coalition of hyper-local nonprofits, social service agencies, and houses of worship working together to develop solutions to community needs brought on by the pandemic. And this innovation and the infrastructure it established set a critical platform for responding to the almost insurmountable needs brought on by Hurricane Ida. The CRC is a trusted provider that is expanding and strengthening its services, even while their own central office was wiped out in the flooding. They are an incredible example of resilience and fortitude through tremendous obstacles, exemplifying the traits of many who they proudly serve. CRC is an essential part of the Westchester community, and they have truly gone beyond all reasonable expectations to deliver and serve in the most difficult circumstances this year. They have also engaged community partners in the nonprofit, business, and government sectors in the fight to fully fund the flood mitigation project in Mamaroneck, which has been in the works and delayed for many, many years. The outlook for this is very positive and will save lives, property, and businesses. Thank you, Community Resource Center, for your actions and voice in this ongoing struggle to advance racial equity toward making Westchester a better place for all residents. We honor you as one of this year's Nonprofit Westchester Keep Westchester Thriving Organization Changemaker awardees.
Hello, I'm Gerandi Martinez, Executive Director of Community Resource Center, and I'm joined here with Marco Bojorquez, Manager of Programs and Workforce Development, Silvia Falcon, our Senior Case Manager, and Luis Zarate, Director of Operations. Thank you, Jan and Nonprofit Westchester, for this award. Our community has endured no shortage of despair for the last several years, from families torn apart because of their immigration status, to COVID-19 destabilizing our reality, to the murder of George Floyd, and now another natural disaster leaving so many with nothing as we face a critical housing crisis. For the last 2.5 months, all of CRC's departments have had to pivot to support local residents through the remnants of Hurricane Ida, which impacted many communities around New York State and left unprecedented turmoil in Mamaroneck. 535 homes flooded, 1,000 people were displaced, several buildings were condemned for safety concerns, 310 cars were lost in the flood, the loss of a firehouse, a damaged bridge, and still 117 families displaced this very day. We are humbled to be named Organizational Changemaker. When you're continuously in survival mode, the smart thing to do is to use your resources and to fight the good fight to change the systems in place that keep you in that survival cycle. And we're lucky to be in a community that has both resources and allies to support that change. Through our work with the Coalition for Community and local representatives within Westchester County, CRC has been able to secure temporary shelter for families that were displaced. As we continue to coordinate and advocate for more permanent housing options, we've supported the distribution of basic needs and clothing, furniture, mattresses, and have led the distribution of crisis relief funds that will help these families through this storm. I'm amazed by our collective grit and for continuously lifting ourselves and each other up through these tough times. It is our roots which have instilled that perseverance in us and our experience that allows us to keep innovating to meet our community's needs, even when all seems lost. Nonprofit Westchester, our community partners, and our own clients have consistently shown us that we'll get through anything together. As this crisis subsides, it's our hope that we seek beyond the urgency of today. Let's learn and finally do away with social inequities still so prevalent in our county so that we can keep our communities here, diverse, and thriving. On behalf of our board of directors, our staff, it's an honor to serve this community, but most of all, it's an honor to be a part of it. Thank you.
There has never been a time in recent history where the leadership displayed by Judith Watson was more greatly needed. After close to 30 years of working at the Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center's group of federally qualified centers, Judith took the helm as CEO right before the start of the pandemic. There was no time to pivot and sort things out. Judith, herself struck by COVID-19, got to work. She swiftly adopted policies and practices to ensure the health centers were COVID ready. She made certain that testing sites were open daily for patients and staff to receive COVID testing, and that people without transportation had a place to receive such care. And she extended this level of care to people seeking the vaccine. As one staff member stressed, Ms. Watson understands the needs of our staff, patients, and families, and how to meet them expertly, creatively, and holistically. Judith also understands how to be a most effective community collaborator and is a sought-after expert from government, healthcare, nonprofit, and academic partners. She is noted for her innovative approaches to and perspective on such critical issues as vaccine education, social determinants of health, and the impact of systemic racism. Judith is a voice for our times, a strong, intelligent, compassionate woman who is a fierce and tireless advocate for people most in need. There is no one more enthusiastic about the critical role she and her team can play in advancing equity and health for all people who live and work in Westchester County. Her efforts have served to ease the spread of COVID-19 in Westchester, and for that we are all eternally grateful. She has led us through the worst of times and will no doubt continue to be the leader we need in our county and state as we move forward. It is my honor to present the 2021 NPW Keep Westchester Thriving Individual Changemaker Award to Judith Watson.
Thank you, Michelle. Good evening, Anna, Haida, and Jan. Thank you for all the incredible work that you do on behalf of nonprofits throughout Westchester County. You have given us a voice and an unprecedented seat at the table. We are all so grateful that you were chosen to lead us in this moment. To my fellow honorees at the Community Resource Center and Child Care Council, congratulations to you. The definition of change maker is someone taking creative action to solve a social problem. In this instance, the social problem is access to quality, comprehensive healthcare services to Westchester's most vulnerable citizens. For close to 50 years, 27 of which I have had the great fortune of being a part of, the Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center, Greenberg Health Center, and Yonkers Health Center have done just that. Whether it was the HIV global epidemic of the 80s, the current COVID pandemic, or any future epidemics or pandemics to come, we have been here and will always be here for the community. The great Mahatma Gandhi said, "The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members." To that end, and in collaboration with all community partners, including those who are being recognized here this evening, Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center commits to doing our part. The COVID pandemic has provided us with unprecedented need and given us painful inspiration, which furthers our resolve. I humbly accept this award on behalf of the millions who have lost their lives to COVID, including 3 longtime Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center employees, and those of us who are left behind to mourn their passing. I urge every one of you who have not been vaccinated to do so at once. And for those of you who have been vaccinated, please encourage those in your lives who have not been vaccinated to do so. The 3 vaccines are being offered at all Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center operated sites on a walk-in basis. My wish for each of you is for good health, without which nothing else is possible. Thank you again to Nonprofit Westchester, and have a wonderful rest of your evening.
I just wanted to close the evening by confirming that the board slate for next year was approved without exception. Congratulations to those who were elected. Congratulations again to all our honorees. Thank you to all our departing board members, and thank you all again for joining us. Have a good evening.